I decided to try to do a voiceover commentary to let you guys know what goes on in my head when I play Hanzo. I have no experience with stuff like this, so I pretty much just winged it, but I hope you still find it entertaining and informative. So yeah, enjoy. Trying to go for a spawn kill, but the endorsement window opens up. I'm backing up while simultaneously making sure that there's not a widow grappling hooking to the high ground up front. Just spamming, trying to get some ultimate charge and possible picks. Here I see the Tracer going for the flank, so I back up into the house to get some cover as well as to listen in case the Tracer flanks. I heard a Tracer melee sound behind, so I shoot a Sonic just in case. Right after using the Sonic, I hear the Tracer recoil, so I turn towards the sound to line up my first shot. After hitting my first shot, I line up the second shot more towards the left, since I predict that the Tracer will try to escape towards the flank. At this point we won, so I push forward, trying to dish out as much damage as I can, while simultaneously moving onto the high ground to get more picks, breaking the shield to slow down their next push, while simultaneously aiming at someone behind the shield in case the Reinhardt drops the shield.
Okay?
After the McCree dodges my shot by strafing to the right, I start aiming behind him, since I expect him to respect me enough to not just top 500 run in a straight line past the choke point. I jump down to force them to back up from the other choke point. I back up to make sure that I stay alive for the Zarya combo. I notice the Hanzo going for me, so I shoot at him while simultaneously backing up. But since my ego is so huge, I just decide to style on him instead. I don't camp the corpse because I have to be ready for the combo. Here I try to just not get triggered after the McCree suicides into me. I don't push forward with my team, since I want to be ready to shoot the enemies from the high ground when they rush in. I start shooting at the Reinhardt shield as soon as possible once again, to make sure that we win the shield battle. If they didn't use Dragon here, I would have gone to the right side instead, to make sure the Reinhardt's shield is angled away from our Reinhardt. I noticed the Hanzo going for the stairs flank, and I try to save our Mercy, that decided to fly into the biggest stack of teammates she can find, just as the Zarya is looking for a spot to use her ultimate. It didn't work because they had shield up. I position myself onto the far high ground, even though it's going to be harder for me to get picks, because I feel way more safer there, and at the same time I can just bait the Widow into trying to focus me instead. I don't really care about shooting the Reinhardt shield here, since our second DPS is now a Widow, which means we will pretty much never kill the shield. So I just decide to try to pick off the Widow, or at least the Hanzo, to lower the chance of my teammates getting picked off. Unfortunately the Widow gets picked off, so I immediately jump for cover, since I know the enemy Widow will peek main to try to pick me off. I use this info to line up a clutch shot to pick off the enemy team's Widow. The Hanzo hits me once, which leaves me at 130 HP. So I back up to not get killed by a damage boosted body shot. Since I styled on the Hanzo and they also have the Widow ultimate on, I know that he's only going to go for me, so I played extremely safe. But he's a next level pussy who decides to just camp in the house until I come out. Here I start remembering that I'm actually streaming as well. And I get upset at myself for not interacting with the chat at all, so I try to figure out something to say. I don't think so, Cobalt. That's called Twitter. Here I go on top of the jail and kill myself because I was distracted and didn't think about what I was even doing. The Mercy doesn't know that I'm having a top 10 anime battles with the enemy Hanzo, which means he will definitely corpse camp me. But I managed to kill the Hanzo and just proceed to try to pick off the rest of the enemy team. You might think that me missing so many shots here is a bad thing, but the only thing that happens is that the enemy team dies slower. I mean, you know, it was supposed to be informative, so I'm not gonna make excuses, you know. I just missed shots, and now I'm playing extremely safe, in case the Widow is back already. I do a tiny peek to try to figure out the exact position of the enemy team's snipers. I see the Widow is on the high ground, so I decide to just stay behind the wall, while simultaneously almost peeking the Widow to bait him into not shooting anyone except me. I thought I saw the Hanzo jump on top of the jail, so I shoot a Sonic. I noticed that they're both on the other high ground, so I decided to go with the old strat while trying to get picks, do a huge clutch. And now I just noticed that all my teammates were dead, so I tried to die on the payload. I noticed that 2 of my teammates got bad spawns, and I know it always results in them delay killing themselves. So I just get sad and stare at the chat, trying to figure out something to say, and end up shooting the Zarya bubble. I changed my position after every shot, since I don't want to get picked off by the Widow here. Desperately trying to get some picks while waiting for my team to get into position. I'm too scared to push forward, so I just spam at the Reinhardt shield, trying to wait for the enemy team to come past the corner. Our Reinhardt is very overextended and ends up dying, which means we pretty much lost the fight, since we have no shield against their snipers. Our Widow is also overextended and ends up dying. I tried to just go for some insane clutches. I realized that I can't wait for the grab, so I have to use my ult here. And we basically just get rolled on the last point. Why did we get rolled? Here I passive-aggressively shit-talk my team to the stream. This is why I need a replay system, because how am I gonna ever understand how we lost that last point without seeing it from like a bird's eye view? Why do we get staggered for the whole point, you know? Here I'm just doing my edgy roleplay warm-up, just, you know, fisting the walls, all that cool stuff. I exit from the right side to get a faster angle on the enemies, just try to spam rapid fire to maybe get a lucky pick, hopefully at least some ultimate charge. Probably shouldn't use rapid fire and just, you know, go for the normal arrow, so that if I hit even one headshot it's gonna be a kill. So, you know, we lost this fight immediately, so I'm just backing up here. Just trying my best to farm my dragon as fast as possible, so that we can get a clutch. I noticed Hanzo on the high ground, so I try to get a clutch headshot to get a free pick. And right after I could just rush the high ground to kill the Mercy while she's trying to rest the Hanzo. But unfortunately the Rain died, so we back up once again. Finally I get my ultimate, so I start trying to figure out how I'm gonna use it. We don't have a grab yet, so I just have to go for a cool zoning / YOLO ultimate here. I shoot it to the left side of the enemy team to force them into the clear view, and just try to spam arrows, hoping to get lucky picks, since I can't actually see anything through all the effects. I go onto the high ground to escape the Zarya. I feel insecure about dying to the Hanzo, so I start complaining about our Mercy to the stream. Our Mercy started using pistol when we got grabbed. I realized that I'm just being a cock, so I stopped myself from talking and check if anyone was judging me in the chat. I see that one of us already got picked off, so I don't even try to spam the shield. I just want to get my ultimate back and get some picks while waiting for us to regroup. But the only thing I managed to do is to keep the Zarya at full charge and to feed some ultimate charge to the enemy team's supports. I figure out that the Hanzo is on the high ground, so I back up to our high ground to try to get a lucky pick. Unlike me, he doesn't want to back up, so, you know, he gets picked off. I see the McCree going for the high ground, so I shoot one arrow to make him think I have a Sonic there. And this way the McCree will be too afraid to contest high ground, giving me enough time and room to contest him and simultaneously saving our Genji. Unfortunately, the Genji continues pushing with 10 HP and dies, and our Mercy goes to res and also gets killed by the Zenyatta, and it's time to regroup. I'm dead, don't grab. This time we have the grab combo, so I'm just trying to play it safe and go for some lucky picks at the same time until we grab.
Yeah, well, I don't think we have 60 seconds remaining.
I hear the Mercy use her ultimate, so I'm just like trying to figure out where she is, who is she gonna res, and there she goes, so I just pick her off quickly, and boom. But at least we got the point, so it's all Gucci. I push forward while we are capping the point, and I also remember that it's very important for me to win this match for undisclosed reasons, so I start trying even harder. I hear the Widow, so I immediately start going for her, since she's the most important person to pick off here. But I'm forced to back up because of the Zarya, so I basically try to farm my ultimate once again. I see the Widow going for the high ground, so I start trying to pick her off instead. But unfortunately she gets a pick, and the enemy team decides to grab since they picked off the Zen. And at this point I'm trying to tell myself that everything is okay. They wasted a grab, we still have some time. Oh no, I ignored the chat again. I'll see you later, and once again end up killing myself because I was distracted. I'm also hoping that the Mercy doesn't waste res on me.
I don't know, bro.
And luckily the res is on cooldown. I acknowledge the fact that my head is not in the game anymore, so I try to get my head back in. I have the dragon, we don't have the grab, so I need to do a solo dragon here. I'm gonna go for a sick Widow pick, trying to find her. Still trying to find her. I realize the enemy team used the trance, so I wait until it's over and then use my dragon. I figure out that the Widow is on the high ground. I desperately try to pick her off, but then I get sandwiched. But I get a good angle on the Widow, pick her off, we're good to go. I kill off the Zarya, and our Widow manages to pick off the Hanzo on the high ground. The only one that's left is the Widow, so I'm going to try to go forward, claim the high ground, but then I notice the Zen. Free pick. Oh no, the Mercy got picked off. It's the last real push. Wall climb is bugging out. How are we supposed to win this? What am I supposed to do? I realize that I'm starting to get frustrated, and this always results in me playing worse. So I decide to calm myself down this time and just focus on trying to hit every single shot. I also noticed the Widow on the left side getting ready to do a grappling hook shot, since she obviously would want to get to the jail high ground as well to contest me. So I jump down at the same time, trying to pick her off. Now I notice that I'm in a very bad spot and our Widow gets picked off, so I shoot a Sonic and decide to go for the high ground. I notice the Hanzo, chase him down, and since I already hit the Widow once, I know that I can just spam rapid fire since she will die from one headshot. I proceed to pick off the remaining enemies and sneakily tell my teammates that I just killed everyone. Why am I killing everything? I push forward to pick off the enemies coming from the bad spawn. I see the Tracer going for the left, so I pre-fire her. I remind myself to breathe. At this point, I feel so confident in my aim that I just spam the tanks, dealing useless trash damage. But at least I guess I'm applying pressure and all that cool stuff, you know. I notice the Tracer going to the top left, so I back up to make sure that the Tracer doesn't flank. At this point we're basically just waiting for the payload to push, since the enemy team doesn't want to contest yet. Tracer is still doing weird shit left side, I'm pretty sure. I noticed the Widow going to the left for the Tracer, so I try to go in to help her out, make sure she doesn't die. And then we just get grabbed. and it's pretty much a reset. Big res. Apparently, resing is...
Fuck me.
What happened? I don't even know what happened there, but you know, let's continue. We used the grab without the combo, but it seems to work out. I come back and try to cut off this area with my ultimate. She manages to get past the ult with her bubble, so I try to rapid fire her down, but miss my shots. At this point I'm just trying to not to die, and simultaneously try to keep the enemies back from the payload so we can push. We only have 30 seconds left, so we have to make it through and before the timer runs out, or otherwise we can only draw.
One. Yes.
Lucia one.
Well,
Nice.
here, good.
Yeah, I got you, got you.
4 seconds. 3 seconds. Nice. It's still winnable, boys. I start off the same way, spamming arrows. Not giving any fucks about giving the enemy team's area full charge in the process. A huge mistake, to be honest. I just keep spamming, hoping to get a pick, but I just keep feeding this area. I decide to go for the high ground to have a better angle. I don't want to peek up front, since I might get picked off, so I go for the flank. The Junkrat chases me, so I decide to go try and get a pick up front, but I get contested once again, so I back up, trying to get picks. No one has been shooting us from the high ground, so I decide to go back up, and our McCree is also there, so it should be safe. We notice the 2 enemies and proceed to pick them off. And at this point we basically won the fight, so I give my team some praise. Huge, boys. Absolutely disgusting gameplay. Once again I push for the high ground, trying to pick off people coming back from the old spawn. I try to play as aggressively as I can while simultaneously not getting picked off by the Hanzo. I play way too aggressively, especially since we are really close to getting the combo, and I end up getting picked off. Oh, but I got unlucky. Luckily we have the res, and I back up fast to get ready for the combo, but I realize I don't even have my ult, which is unlucky. We still finish them off, and the tire only picks off 1 enemy.
No, I just...
At this point I'm just trying to pick off the remaining enemies to increase the time it takes for them to regroup. I'm trying to figure out how to use my ultimate. I should have probably went for a YOLO spawn kill. Shot it straight at the spawn, surprising them when they try to run out and just killing maybe all of them at the same time. I decided to just ult the payload since they are trying to contest it. That way we at least move the payload forward a bit. I hear the Tracer on our left side, so I try to help peel her off from my supports. I see the Rain charging in, which is a free kill, so I just focus on him instead. At this point I'm only concerned about the enemy team trying to contest us one more time before we reach the waypoint. So I push forward to look at the left spawn to see if they are backing up or not. And it seems that they're backing up, so I try to go and get a couple hits in to get my ultimate.
Did they use the grab? Oh, never mind, they did. They're gonna grab right now.
I try to get my ultimate in time to pre-fire it at the enemy team's Hanzo, hopefully killing him and cancelling his dragon. But I missed my shot, so I get my ultimate too late, so we just lose the fight.
We got it far. Yeah.
I try to go for a spawn kill once again, but this time I have to be extra careful since they might be expecting it. Since I did it the previous defense round as well. I need to be careful to not get picked off by the Widow/Hanzo that they might have. I back up to stand behind the Reinhardt shield, getting ready to spam the Reinhardt shield to win us the shield battle, plus maybe getting some lucky picks, plus some ultimate charge. I didn't stay on the high ground because of the chance of me just getting randomly picked off. We easily win the shield battle since we started shooting their shield first. I also get a lucky pick and continue contesting the Hanzo. And at this point we're just trying to pick off the remaining enemies. I focus this area because the Brigitte has no chance of escaping. This time I push all the way past the choke point with my team to get some spawn kills, since none of the enemies have left the spawn yet, so it should be a very high chance of me just randomly picking off at least one of them as they come out of spawn. Or at least getting some ultimate charge. Our McCree decides it will be a funny XD choke to just try to flank the whole enemy team with McCree. He picks off the Zenyatta but proceeds to die in the process. And the Zenyatta also gets rest. I back up to play time, wait until we get the grab combo. I also noticed the Hanzo going for the high ground, so I lunge while using my ultimate to get out of the line of sight of the Hanzo. And now it's time to just pick off the remaining enemies and push forward once again to try to get some spawn kills. Once again I make sure that I start shooting the Reinhardt shield as fast as possible to make sure that we win the shield battle. I make sure to stay out of the Hanzo's line of sight to not just randomly get picked off and try to simultaneously build another ultimate. I hit a lot of shots, so I decided to go to the high ground to try to pick off someone that I got to low HP. I know they have a grab at this point, so I'm just backing up, trying to not get caught in the combo. I also positioned myself on the elevator to try to bait the enemies into shooting me, since they can't really see anyone else than me because of all the effects going around. I try to go for a flying dragon, but I get stuck on the tree and get picked off, unlucky. And at this point we just pretty much lost the fight, so it's time to regroup. I should have saved my dragon since I should have expected our Zarya to have her ultimate back by now. I go to the high ground to try to get lucky picks once again and maybe get my ultimate in time for when we finally contest the payload. I overextend a bit to try to get the Mercy to fly to me, but she doesn't manage to do it, so I overextend again, getting picked off by the Widow in the process. After getting revived, I just tried to bait the Widow into shooting me, believing in my Matrix abilities. Unfortunately, she hits me once, so I jump down. I should have backed up at this point, but I didn't, so now I'm sandwiched by the Hanzo and the Widow and get picked off once again. The pressure is high and I try to calm myself, try to not get frustrated. I think about what to do for the final fight and decide to exit from the right side, positioning myself in a way so that I can pick enemies off in case they peek our spawn exits. And after we regroup, I can go for the right side flank. I expect the snipers to be on the high ground, so I put down a Sonic. I shoulder pick the Widow to get her attention, making room for my teammates to move in. It kinda looks like the Widow is backing up to shoot at the other exit, so instead of running all the way to the other exit to have a shield, I decide to risk it and exit from the flank. I quickly decide to shoot at the people on the payload instead of going for the snipers, since it's overtime, and if we kill everyone on the payload, the snipers will have to jump down to contest.
Sorry, one. GG.
If you want me to make more content like this, make sure you leave a like and comment. Maybe even share this video to someone that might benefit from some Hanzo tips. I also stream every single day, so make sure you stop by and hang out. I have also been thinking about trying to make some guides, like for example, how to increase your chances of winning a sniper 1v1. So if you have any suggestions or criticism, leave a comment below.